everyone, welcome to yet another session on the SAT reading. So if you guys can hear me and see me, please drop a hi or a hello in the live chat option. Hi everyone, a very good evening to all of you out there. A very good evening, guys. Let me know if I am audible and visible to you by just dropping a comment in your live chat option. Yeah, let us see who's active. Cool, fantastic. Yeah. Let me know if you can hear me. Absolutely. Yeah, so just drop a hi or a hello in your live chat option so that we know how many of you are live there. Yeah, hi Anamika, how are you? Alright, so today we have an interesting session. Yeah, so in this session we are going to do some reading and vocabulary for SAT history passages, which would be helpful for any exam which you would be taking. Alright, yeah, great. So as you all know me, I'm your top rated verbal ability and reading comprehension trainer with a proven track record of more than 8 years of providing training to people from diverse backgrounds on courses like SAT, ACT, IELTS, PTE, TOEFL, GRE, GMAT, etc. at pan-India level as well as internationally, along with certifications from renowned corporates and institutions. Along with that, I am a verified plus educator on Unacademy. Hi Ayush, how are you? I hope all of you can hear me. Alright, so shall we proceed? We are going to solve, not solve actually, but we are going to see the important vocabulary and how to comprehend historical texts, because history passages are thought by many students to be very challenging, isn't it? So reading history passages sometimes becomes a lot monotonous. So I will try to make it interesting for you. Why? Because we'll be doing history passages taking text from historical speeches. Like in today's session, I have taken a very important speech by a famous historical figure. Shall we? Okay. Now, as I told you that we would be doing history passages from speeches by famous celebrities in history. So for today we have chosen one such speech and we would be completing it in 1 or 2 sessions. If we are not able to complete it today, we will continue the same tomorrow. Right? Works? Okay. Now, before I give you the detailed understanding of the speech, you will get to know which speech are you exactly going to read. So we all know that when you live in a democratic country, you have fundamental rights, you have fundamental duties, right? If you are studying, you have the freedom to choose your own education, you have the freedom to choose your own courses, right? You have the freedom to choose your own career, isn't it? Yeah? And we all are born equal and we should be given the same chances no matter the place where we were born, what color our skin is, and what our ethnic background is, what language we speak. Above all, we all are human beings. Exactly. Do you agree with this aspect? Do you? Yeah? Okay. So this is the background of the speech. Now you have a rough idea, okay? This speech is going to mainly address fundamental rights or basic rights of human beings. I'll tell you which famous celebrity are we going to take. Can you see and tell me? Can you see? It's going to be a speech by whom? Just search for it and let me know. So this is a speech going to be delivered by Eleanor Roosevelt, and she is going to talk about the struggle for human rights. Okay, shall we start? Okay. Now, before we start with the speech, let me give you an overview of what all we are going to read in this speech. First of all, you should know that this speech was delivered on 28th September 1948. All right. And when Eleanor Roosevelt delivered this speech, she addressed people with a speech about human rights. This we have just now seen. And then how does she start the speech? She starts the speech with a very powerful sentences. We are going to see how does she start the speech. All right. And her tone is strong. She is inspiring the people she is addressing the speech to. And mainly she is addressing the speech to every human being alive, and even to those human beings who are not yet born. Okay. Now, whenever we are going to do any speeches from history, we are going to look at certain key elements which would be beneficial for your SAT reading as well. First of all, you have to know about the speaker. Who is he? Who is she? You have to know what is the occasion on which the speaker is delivering the speech. And then, which audience is he addressing the speech to? Right? What is the purpose of the speech? And what is the subject of the speech? Now, you have to remember this acronym. Actually, this is a short form. SOAP's tone. Speaker, occasion, audience, purpose, subject, and the last one is tone. Right? Now, in this case, the speech that we are going to read by Eleanor Roosevelt, let's try to know something about the speaker. So, our speaker is Eleanor Roosevelt. She was born on October 11, 1884. And what is so special about her? She faced many difficulties during her childhood because she lost both her parents and two brothers at a very young age. She was married to Franklin D. Roosevelt, we all know, and she is the person who is entitled as the longest serving First Lady for 4 continuous terms. Isn't that amazing? So, as I told you, she was the longest serving First Lady of the United States. Right? And she was the delegate to the United Nations General Assembly from 1945 to 1952. And throughout her life, she fought for human rights most of her life. Next, let's try to understand what is the occasion on which she is going to deliver the speech. We are going to see the speech, but first of all, let's understand what is the speech going to be all about. So, she is delivering the speech in Paris, France, at the Sorbonne. Sorbonne is university. So, she chose to deliver this speech in Paris. So, you might be asked a question like, why did Eleanor Roosevelt choose to deliver the speech in Paris? Why? Because France was the origin. France was the origin where freedom has been richly nourished. Right? Okay. She also chose this time because it was the time for the General Assembly to be elected, and it held the future of the United Nations. Now, as far as the audience is concerned, she is delivering the speech to thousands of French citizens, and delegates are also present there. She was there to discuss the struggle for human rights. Right? to those that fail to accept fundamental rights and freedoms of all humans. See, there was a time when only some particular countries were giving the rights to humans, giving the fundamental rights to their citizens. There were countries who were not granting these rights to their citizens. So that is why she is delivering the speech, right? She is addressing mainly to some particular countries. We are going to see which countries is she addressing the speech to. So she is mainly addressing the speech to those countries who have failed to accept fundamental rights, who have failed to grant fundamental rights to their humans, no matter their race, gender or belief. This is basically the aim of her speech. So she is mainly forcing the United Nations to adopt the declaration. Which declaration? International Declaration of Human Rights. So she is persuading the countries to adopt the Declaration for Fundamental Human Rights. Okay? And which are those countries? So the main country that she is focusing in her speech is USSR. We are going to see that in her speech in a moment. Ukraine, Belarusia, People's Federal Republic of Yugoslavia, Czechoslovakia, Union of South Africa and Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. So these are the countries which she would be forcing to adopt the declaration. And what is the purpose of her speech? We all know. She's going to persuade, she's going to convince countries who fail to act in accordance with the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Comply is act in accordance with. Alright? Okay. So she's trying to persuade them, she's trying to convince them into understanding that fundamental rights are important for citizens in democratic countries. What is the subject? Her subject is the struggle for human rights. She wants her fellow citizens, she wants the fellow human beings to have rights, to have freedom, which will give them dignity, which will give them a sense that they can walk shoulder to shoulder with each other on the earth, with their head high, with pride, and so that they can look all the men in the face straight. So this is the subject of her speech. And what is she going to discuss? The importance of human rights on all mankind. She's going to talk about the Russian patriotism and persuading the non-compliant countries. Okay, now let's start with the speech. So from here, she's starting the speech. Yes, Abhi, that would be a plus point for your profile. If you get a good rank in your JEE or NEET, that would be a plus point. Yeah. Okay, let's start with the speech then. So these are the actual words by Eleanor Roosevelt. So she says, she starts her speech like, I have come this evening to talk with you on one of the greatest issues of our time. So now she is going to tell you the subject of her speech. Why is she there to deliver the speech? So she says, I'm going to talk about one of the greatest issues of our time. That is preservation of human freedom. I have chosen to discuss it here in France. Now, she's going to give you a reason why. Correct. Why is she delivering the speech? Right? Okay, so she says, I have chosen to discuss it here in France. So why has she selected France only? So the reason is because at the Sorbonne is the university, because here in this soil, the roots of human freedom, roots are what? Roots mean origins. Origins of human freedom have long ago struck deep. So the origins can be traced back to France. That is the reason she is delivering the speech in France. It was here, where? It was here refers to France. It was here the Declaration of the Rights of Man was proclaimed, and the greatest slogans of the French Revolution liberty, equality, fraternity, fraternity is brotherhood, fire the imagination of men. I have chosen to discuss this issue in Europe because this has been the scene of the greatest historic battles between freedom and tyranny. So which greatest historic battle? She is referring to the World War II, the Second World War. Okay? Alright. So she says, I have chosen to discuss it in the early days of the General Assembly because the issue of the General Assembly, because the issue of human liberty is decisive for settlement of outstanding political differences and for the future of the United Nations. Now in this paragraph, she is telling you the reasons. Why is she delivering the speech? Secondly, why is she delivering the speech in France only? Thirdly, why has she chosen to discuss this issue in Europe, and why only this time? So this part of the speech addresses 4 questions. Okay, would you try to answer this question now? If you have paid attention, you would certainly be able to. Let me know. Would you be able to answer it? So your question says, why has Roosevelt decided to give her speech at the Sorbonne? Ready for the options? Yeah, let's see. Option A, the location is irrelevant. Option B, she's on a tour of Europe on behalf of the United Nations. Option C, the location is symbolic of the fight for human rights. Option D, the Sorbonne is where women have fought for their rights. Would you try and answer? Okay, so here's your timer. Hi Gracie, good evening. Correct, Umar, very nice. Very good, very good. Correct. Yes. So the correct answer for this is C, because France is symbolic of the fight for human rights. The origins can be traced back to France, right? Absolutely. Let's move on to the second part of the speech. Alright, so here she says, the decisive importance of this issue was recognized by whom? By the founders of the United Nations at San Francisco. Concern for the preservation and promotion of human rights and fundamental freedom stands at the heart of the United Nations. Its charter is distinguished by its preoccupation with the rights and welfare of individual men and women. Right? So the United Nations has made it clear that it intends to uphold human rights. It intends to promote human rights and to protect the dignity of the human personality. In the preamble to the Charter, the keynote is set when it declares, "We, the people of the United Nations, determined to reaffirm faith in fundamental human rights, in the dignity and the worth of the human person, and in the equal rights of men and women, and of nations large and small, and to promote social progress and better standards of life in larger freedom." Basically, they are giving you the historical context of this. This reflects the basic premise of the Charter that the peace and security. Now there are two factors. Peace and security of mankind are dependent on mutual respect for the rights and freedoms of all. How can you ensure peace and security of mankind? You can only do that if you respect the rights and freedoms of every person. Now there's a word which you can see in bold, which is promote. Now I'm going to give you a question based on this. Ready? As used in the passage, promote most nearly means. What does it mean? Option A, raise. Option B, support. Option C, advertise. Option D, limit. So you have to tell me, what does the word promote mean according to the passage? Raise, support, advertise, limit. And your time starts now. Quickly come up with your answers, everyone. Right, everyone, quickly. What does the word promote mean? Correct, Umar. Wonderful. Absolutely correct. Promote is correct. The correct answer for this is support. Right, let's move on for the next question. It says one of the purposes of the United Nations is declared in Article 1. And what is the purpose? To achieve international cooperation in solving international problems of an economic, social, cultural, or humanitarian character, and in promoting and encouraging respect for human rights and for fundamental freedoms for all without distinction as to race, discrimination of race, sex, language, or religion. This thought is repeated at several points, and notably in Articles 55 and 56, the members promise themselves to take joint and separate action in cooperation with the United Nations for the promotion of universal respect for human rights and fundamental freedoms for all without distinction as to race, sex, language, or religion. Next is, the Human Rights Commission was given as its first and most important task. So first and most important task of HRC, preparation of an international Bill of Rights. So this was their first and most important task. The General Assembly, which opened its third session here in Paris a few days ago, will have before it the first fruit of the Commission's labors in this task. What is a fruit here? So she says it will have before it the first fruit of the labor in this task, that is the International Declaration of Human Rights. So as used in the passage, fruit most nearly means to bear the fruit, to have the fruit, result, gift, food, or growth. Quickly come up with your answers. As used in the passage, fruit most nearly means. Here's your timer. What do you mean by that? It's a, what do you mean by fruit here? Quickly. Correct. The answer for this is result. For example, there's a prepositional phrase as well, to bear fruit, and that means to yield positive results. When your efforts bear fruit, for example, to yield positive results. Alright, so let's read about this. Okay, it says the declaration was finally completed after much work during the last session of the Human Rights Commission in New York in the spring of 1948. The Economic and Social Council has sent it without recommendation to the General Assembly, together with other documents transmitted by the Human Rights Commission. It was decided in our commission that a Bill of Rights should contain two parts. First one, a declaration which could be approved through action of the member states of the United Nations in the General Assembly. This declaration would have great moral value, moral force, and would say to the peoples of the world, this is what we hope human rights may mean. What human rights may mean to all people in the years to come. We have put down here the rights, yes, rights that we consider basic for individual human beings the world over to have. Without them, we feel that the full development of individual personality is impossible. Okay, let's go about it. So your question is, what are human rights according to the passage? What are human rights according to the passage? Option A, free speech and assembly for men and freedom of choice for women. Option B, total equality for all people. Option C, the minimum needed for humans to be able to grow as individuals. Option D, something all nations will agree on. What would you say? Your time starts now. Let's be quick. What are human rights according to the passage? Okay, stop everyone. So the correct answer for this is the minimum needed for humans to be able to grow as individuals. Why? Because here in this line you can see it says we have put down here the rights that we consider basic for individual human beings the world over to have. So that's the reason we would be going for option C. Cool? Alright. So that is it for the first part of this session. I hope you truly liked it. So come and be a part of our Unacademy free special classes as well. If you want to learn more with the top educators of Unacademy, you can get a real time interaction with your teachers. You can ask questions to us using the question tab. You can answer polls and compete with your friends and make it to the leaderboard. Isn't that wonderful? Yeah. So you can also be a part of our structured courses on Unacademy. You can access the courses from the comfort of your home, and you can access as many courses as you wish to once you are our Plus subscriber. So you get daily practice sessions, mock tests, live quizzes, doubt clearing sessions. You can be a part of a lot of batch courses and exclusive guidance and tips for the SAT. So you can decide on a plan if you wish to appear for a 3-month subscription or a 6-month subscription. So again, on that subscription, you can fetch a discount of 10% if you use the referral code Gurpreet10. That would help you to fetch a 10% discount on your subscription. And Unacademy is offering you an amazing opportunity to get a 6-month SFE subscription in just 7,200 rupees. Isn't that amazing? Yeah. So under such a minimal price, you're going to get a lot of benefits like structured courses, 20 plus full-length mock tests, 300 plus hours of recorded content and doubt solving classes. But this offer would be valid until 31st of March only. And if you are among the first 100 subscribers who subscribe for a 6-month SAT coaching, you get a free IELTS subscription as well. So that's a cherry on the cake, right? Yes. So for any kinds of updates, notifications and exclusive content and material, you can come and be a part of our Telegram channel. Come and join us on the Telegram channel Acing, SAT and ACT. The link of which is already given to you here and also in the description below. You can go ahead and be a part of our Telegram community. And you also have an opportunity to claim a prize if you are among the first one to report a particular issue for any inappropriate content in the video. So till then, take care everyone, and I would be looking forward to having you all in my interactive classes on Unacademy. If you like this video, please do not forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon for any new updates or notifications. Till then, take care everyone. God bless.